Welcome back to In the Cage with Bards here on nextsportstar.com. And joining us now, we have the woman who will be facing Sy Jewett March 15th at AFC 15, the Ides. What a very ominous name that is. At the TELUS Convention Center in Calgary, Alberta. She was kind enough to actually take this interview in the middle of a hair appointment. So there's her dedication to this show right there. The one they call Not So Sweet, Charmaine Tweet, back in the program. Lovely to speak to you again, Charmaine.
Thanks for having me again. It's awesome.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and we see now the life of a workaday women's MMA fighter. You know, trying to get it all done. Not only are you a proud wife and mother, not only are you a professional ass kicker in the cage, you also have to take some time for yourself and get your hair did.
Exactly, whether I need it or not, every 6 months. So here I am.
So, are you doing anything special with it ahead of the fight with Sy? Going to get it blood red or anything like that? Anything ominous?
Oh no, just the normal, maybe a little darker. That's about it.
Okay, good stuff. Well, the last time we talked to you, you had just come back from India and the SFL, your victory there, where you flew 18 hours, for about 40 seconds worth of ring time. You put her away very quickly, but you're no longer with the SFL, and it was kind of an acrimonious split, wasn't it?
Yeah, when I was speaking about them before, I had nothing but good things to say. It was an amazing experience. They put us up in a great hotel. They treated us so well while we were over there, and then forgot to pay me. I don't know. So, we kind of let it go till the 10 days when they said I was guaranteed to have been paid was up, and started contacting people saying, look, hey, maybe you forgot about me and that sort of thing, and we weren't really getting any responses. We were being, and when we did, they said, well, we'll send you a confirmation of the wire, and never got that. So finally, it was 3 days before Christmas, and I was kind of counting on my purse for Christmas, and we just said, look, you know what, we need to let people know that this is happening, and we went public with it, and the day after I did, I got released from my contract via Twitter. So, yeah.
Wow, that's classy. So, you did get paid, though. That's the main thing.
I did eventually, yeah. It was into the middle of January when I finally received all of the funds. But yeah, eventually I did get paid, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, being released from SFL, probably not the worst thing in the world for you. I mean, having to take that 18-hour flight again, and having to sweat out whether you're actually going to get paid or not. I mean, you can do that closer to home, right?
Well, exactly. Although I did love India, and I was looking forward to going back and maybe seeing a little bit more of the country on my next trip. Doing a little bit more shopping in the markets. I went to the markets with 5 guys, so I mean, I didn't get hardly any shopping done. So I was looking forward to going back to India, but like you said, with having to worry about whether or not I was going to get paid, it wasn't really worth it.
No, I guess not. And it doesn't seem like you're the only one kind of severing relationships with the SFL these days. Invicta recently announced that they will no longer be sharing talent with the SFL. Ken Pavia, who was kind of the face of the promotion and their North American point man for business, he's gone as well. So there seems to be a lot of people jumping off this ship, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, it seems like they're just shooting themselves in the foot every time they turn around. Like, with the whole refusing to deal with managers and just with fighters type thing, which is what, before I went there, they actually didn't want to deal with my manager, who at that time was Brett Ashley, so they dealt with Cord, not, I think, really knowing that he was also sort of my manager. So originally they didn't want to deal with managers, and I don't know if it's because maybe they felt they could take a little bit more advantage of the fighters. They wouldn't know, what to ask for and what to be looking for. So I don't know if that was the case, but yeah, just coming out publicly and saying because of the dealings with myself and my manager that they would no longer do it, I think they kind of took a big step backwards for themselves.
Well, we'll have to see what happens with them, but you're busy in the meantime anyway. Of course, you've got the big AFC fight coming up, but we mentioned Invicta a little while back. Has there been any discussion at all, even in the preliminary stages, with Shannon Knapp or with Janet Martin or with anyone from Invicta, seeing Not So Sweet in an Invicta cage?
Yeah, there has been a couple conversations. Basically, what we're doing right now is just waiting to see what happens with Sy, and when that's all done, there's going to be some more talks, and hopefully we'll be seeing me there June or July.
Holy Mackinac, so sooner than I thought, actually.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping for, and I think what part of the conversation was. Like I said, it'll all be based on, what happens and how their schedule is too, who else they have booked, but kind of what I'm aiming for.
Well, that would be great. I would love to see that. And, of course, their 145 division got a huge boost in the way of Cyborg Santos coming over. So who knows, you knock off a couple of impressive wins. We could see Not So Sweet against Cyborg by the end of the year.
Exactly, and I would love to do it. I mean, I'd be one of a handful of people who'd be able to say that they fought Ronda Rousey and Chris Cyborg. And, I mean, I don't know if everybody knows it, but we did kind of call out Gina Carano for when she comes back, too. So that would be a real nice trifecta for me there.
No doubt. That would launch you into the stratosphere as far as women's MMA goes. And women's MMA, it really just has taken off with Ronda Rousey kind of at the helm. But have you noticed, just as a women's MMA fighter, that opportunities seem to be increasing? Because it seems like women's MMA is, the new hotness right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to be getting into women's MMA or to be involved in it, as I have for a few years now. But, yeah, this is the best time right now to get into it. If there's any other younger women out there who are thinking about it, do it now because it's taken off.
Absolutely. Did you see the Ronda Rousey-Liz Carmouche fight?
I did. I wasn't missing that one for anything.
No, I had a funny feeling. Well, what were your impressions of that fight, to having fought Rousey before?
Oh, man, you should have heard the living room I was in when Liz had her in that neck crank. We thought it was finished. We were going crazy. We really, really wanted to see Liz walk away with that one.
Yeah, I guess so. Would that have been a little bit of a recompense for you seeing Rousey lose, having lost to her before?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, she's doing great things for the sport, but I can't say I'm a real huge fan.
No, I guess not. I guess not. But in front of you right now is Sy Jewett, the Lady Dragon. She's undefeated and a proud Alberta native. One has to think that the crowd's going to be on her side. Are you prepared for what could be a rough reception?
Yeah, I'm completely prepared for that. I mean, yeah, the crowd's probably going to be on her side, although I do have a lot of fans in Calgary. I have a lot of family in Calgary, so, I'm going to have quite a few people there cheering me on as well, which will be nice. But I got to be honest with you, as soon as I step in that cage, I hear nothing that goes on outside of it. I hear my coach's voice, and that's it. So it's just me and her, whether or not the fans are cheering for her or not.
Really? So no matter what the size of the crowd or what they're saying, you just zone right in there?
Yep, exactly. I'd gotten to a point for a while there where I would hear my coach's voice and her coach's voice. So I think I'm hoping I'm tuning, getting back into there now. I was a little nervous when I first started with MMA, so that wasn't exactly happening. I was only hearing my coach, but I find it very beneficial when I hear mine and theirs. So
yeah, it gives you an idea of what they're looking for as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I've been told that Sy hits hard. Even though you're an accomplished kickboxer, a Canadian Muay Thai champion, you have both your wins coming by the guillotine. So is the plan to try and take her to the mat and get a third guillotine, or are you looking to slug it out?
We'll have to see what happens. I mean, it all depends on what opportunity presents itself. If the opportunity is there for me to take her down, of course I'm going to take her down. But, if she plays a smarter game and stays on the outside, I'm more than comfortable just to sit there and slug it out with her.
Sounds good. And the two of you have been doing a bit of chirping back and forth, but all in good fun, of course. We've even seen, and we've got up on the screen now, this picture of you where you're actually holding her decapitated head in your hand. That was hilarious. Who came up with that?
I did a photo shoot a while back where I was promoting my MMA cauliflower ears. And the photographer I was working for was like, okay, you know what, now I just want to have a little bit of fun. And he's like, hold your hand out like this, like you're holding someone's head. And, yeah, so it was his idea. That's Tanner Piper at Piper Sports Photography. And he actually sent us a mock-up of one of me just holding like a stock photo's head. And Cord and I looked at it and said, what would be kind of funny? And I think that Sy would find it amusing as well, just having the type of personality she has would be to put Sy's head in there and go from there. So yeah, Tanner worked on it for a little bit, and that was what we came up with.
Yeah, I heard Sy did get a kick out of it too, knowing her sense of humor.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah, that is funny. That is a keeper, you know. People talk about, you know, Facebook profile photos. That is an all-timer right there. So you talked about the cauliflower ears sponsorship. Just tell me a little bit more about that, because clearly, you know, a lot of the pictures we've seen of you lately has that little plastic ear on the side of your head there.
Yeah, they're a great little tool for promoting sports teams. I mean, wrestling teams especially, or MMA gyms, because, you know, eventually you will end up getting cauliflower ears, as I am today. I actually had to mention to my stylist, just, you know, go a little easy on the one ear there, because it's kind of sore. So, yeah, they're a great fundraiser for sports teams. You can get whatever logo you want printed on the back. And, yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's like the foam finger for everything else, right?
Yeah, I really just I think those things are amazing. That's the great idea. So we talked about possibly going to Invicta. Is there anyone that in particular that's on your radar right now? Not to discount this fight against Sy Jewett, but is there anyone, you know, in the future that you'd like to get a little piece of?
Yeah, we've got a few in mind. One is, her name's Yana, and I'm sorry, I have a hard time with her last name. I've never heard it.
Kundiskaya?
Yeah, that one there. And
yes,
so,
the M1
you know,
product.
We've been doing a little talking back and forth with her there, so I know she's signed with Invicta, so that one might be interesting.
Yeah, she's the M1 product, the Russian. So are you going to take a Rocky IV kind of mentality into that one if it pans out?
Well, looking at the weather, at you know, the scenery around here lately with all the snow, might as well.
Yeah, well, that would be one interesting fight, and it's going to be a great fight. You and Sy Jewett, March 15th, AFC 15 at the Ides, the TELUS Convention Center in Calgary, Alberta. Charmaine, thanks so much for joining the program today. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. And you mentioned the cauliflower ears, but any other sponsors you want to thank, or any other thank yous, or anything else you want to do, Twitter address, that kind of thing, now is your time.
All right, so like you said, MMA cauliflower ears, and dedicated few who has done up my weigh-in gear and my walk-in shirts. Baker Hughes, Bill 360. I'm looking to get their fight of the night or submission of the night bonus, possibly. Certified Plumbing and Heating. Oh goodness, there's so many of them. I don't have the list in front of me right now. I feel bad.
Well, you should probably thank who's ever doing your hair right now as well.
Yeah, thanks to the staff. Making me look beautiful for this fight coming up here. Again, Cord, my husband and manager, for doing everything he does for me. My kids, who always put up with me during the weight cut. My friends and family. And if anybody wants to find me on the web, I'm at Charmaine, Not So Sweet Tweet on Facebook, and at Not So Sweet MMA on Twitter.
There you have it. Charmaine, Not So Sweet Tweet here on In the Cage with Bards on nextsportstar.com, and we'll be back with more MMA action right after this.
From the far reaches of the Orient comes an age-old recipe